Yeah, we're gonna go live. Hey, we're going live, buddy, on the internet. Yeah. Hey, y'all, it is March the 31st, 2025. All right. I'd like to congratulate you for making it and also acknowledge, obviously, I got a bullet hole in my head. It's not really a bullet hole, but obviously it's pretty big. It's kind of big like that. It's a scab. And some of y'all might find it unnerving or perhaps even hideous. And I don't know what you're gonna do about that, man. Stop looking at my face. I know I'm only videotaping my face. We haven't figured out, how to not only get like video in video and talking about this and that. So that's why I'm just looking at my face right now. But I mean, we could do that. The video in video and showing you clips. In fact, tonight would be a perfect night for that. But we can't guarantee it's not gonna be choppy. We gotta figure out anyway, that's technical stuff. I got a big old scab on my forehead. There's actually a little one right there on my eye, my eyelid down there, kind of tucked away where you cleverly can't see it behind my gorgeous hair. In fact, underneath it is a big old scab in my head. All right. I believe I mentioned it in a video warning to the public about the damn, what do they call it? Ocular shingles. That's what they call it. Shout out to my man, Major Mark, my mate out there. He was talking about that sometimes he pops up with the shingles. It's not fun, but of course, it's not ocular shingles, which is basically shingles upon your eye. And I don't know why, but it attacks one eye in particular. And so after about let's say 4 to 5 days of recovery now, this eyeball over here is almost as open as this eyeball. All right. It's been a long progression. This is why I've been absent from the internet. I mean, I might be hideous right now, but should have seen me earlier. Should have seen your boy earlier. And I do got pictures and stuff. It was kind of wild. All right, but I just wanted to jump on here on the internet and talk some trash with y'all. All right. I'll have you know during my day, I actually went to work, got up early. I get up early, go to work pretty damn early. Got there, worked a little while for about an hour. See, I get there early. And so after about an hour, I was able to go to the front office, say, hey, do y'all want me in here? Look at me. The thing is, you can't really look too close. I'm not sure what kind of detail you're getting, but I was looking worse even this morning. It's been a steady progression of healing this entire time. I keep getting better and better. But as you can imagine, this morning I was not looking as good as I do right now. In fact, my eye was probably smaller than it actually is right now. All right. And then, I don't know how detailed I can get, but there's blisters. Big blisters that cause these big scabs, you can see. But then there's also little blisters and stuff like that, little tiny blisters. Gotta deal with them. They decided might as well just send me home, and that's what they did. Send me home, and I got the sick pay, and it's unfortunate. I'd rather work than feel like this, obviously. But they sent your boy home, and I got to say, long story short, I got kind of mesmerized a little bit. I did a little bit of like, studying, a little bit, crypto studying, gaining knowledge, just a little bit every time, gaining more knowledge. Crypto trading world. I did do some of that, but not. I mean, I did do some of it. You might know, or you may not know. I've been dropping hot fire. It's the old hot fire. It's how far that I've been had, and some of it's like kind of updated and new a little bit. It's kind of nice. But on the channel, and I've made a playlist. If you don't know, you fucking slacking, right? It'll take you down a notch. I've been uploading these tracks. It's hot fire. Some of it's pretty old, but putting it in a playlist, and that's public. A public playlist called Hot Fire. You go to my channel, check out the playlist tab, look for Hot Fire, and then you got all the tracks. I'm not sure exactly how much it's going to end on because I'm not done uploading them. This will be one that uploads after this show. I already got it automatically timed. It's a robot doing that, uploading it. This is one going to be out later. I don't know, so to like 23 or something like that now. It's still a few more that I actually got to finagle, throw out into the world like a baby bird. I I was doing some of that today. But the two main things, and gosh dang it, I meant to actually write this stuff down. Let me see. I'm gonna have to go to do a little research. What am I doing? All right. I had to do a little bit of cursory research here for a second. It's not really going to take much time, but the thing is, okay, I was personally mesmerized today by the interview. Some of y'all might already know with Ye, all right, where he was in a black KKK costume and he was being interviewed or talked with by DJ Academics. I thought it was a pretty dang well done production as far as entertainment value. Right, Lord knows they didn't put like a lot of just they just went ahead and did it. They knocked some stuff out of the way and just said, "Fuck it, let's shoot." I'm gonna KKK hood. That's pretty good. It was a good interview slash just dialogue. It was nice. Mesmerized by that. There's a lot of very, very interesting things said. And it does remind me, it's like, man, I gotta admit, it's kind of like a habit of mine, or I don't know what you might call it, but of course, people ought to start like just disavowing me in public and stuff, it seems. Because it's like, dude, how come it is that I just really, really gravitate towards, not that I'm dependent on people who are hated, just outright just hated and reviled, such as Ye, right? A lot of people would say he's out of line. The list goes on and on. Andrew Tate, Alex Jones, Myron Gaines, all sort of damn people. I mean, it's many more than that, which people hate on, right? Yes, it's going to take me a while to think about them, all the names, right? But I do kind of gravitate towards that, right? And I don't know exactly if I got an obsession with that or something, or if I could just relate to that. Maybe I could sincerely relate to that. Some of these guys catching, I mean, basically all these guys in which I described, all catching macho madness in their own little style and catching it very, very hard pause. Right, just going to the moon, going beyond the moon as far as rhetoric and just diving into the belly of the beast. People was hated. And I just wanted to point that out as something I was thinking about earlier. Charleston White, these sort of people, if I know you hate them, it's going to make me listen to them. And inevitably, whether it's the chicken or the egg, I don't know which one happens first. I'll see a guy, he'll say something, I'll be like, I like that, I like that. And then everybody will start hating him. Or everybody starts hating a person, and then like I check them out, see what they're saying, And I'm like, I kind of like that. I like that. Either way, it kind of works that way. And I would imagine it's very much part of my mindset or my spiritual aura, right? Just wanting, in a sense, to be hated because these people are not hated for good reason. In fact, it's like there's no good reason to hate somebody, anyways. But even if you were to hate somebody, it doesn't make any sense. But it's like you hitting on these guys for they ever do to you. Oh, they were talking brash. Oh, I just couldn't handle it. Your whole senses were offended, and I really don't mind it. Thing is, I gotta mention, there's something on my mind. Since the other day, I wanted to bring it up. It's like, for the most part, for all their intentions, there's men out there. Some of these men are having the intentions of making babies. God bless them. I appreciate that. Making babies, perhaps establishing families and stuff like that. Some people are already well into that. I just want to say it's like, okay, in this time where it doesn't prove to be very productive, doesn't prove to be very lucrative, to be normal. All these normal people out here thinking normal things, doing the normal things, saying the normal things. It just doesn't seem efficient. And so why buy into that? Why buy into all the normal things? What's it gonna get you? I'll tell you where it's gonna get you. We're gonna talk about it before we get about here tonight on a different subject. Right? But with men out there, I disagree with them. A lot of them. The machoist of men I'm talking about. Men who will grab you and choke you on the neck and just squeeze you until the cops come. I mean, I'm talking about really will take your life and everything else, crash out, do any number of things these men out here. What I'm talking about. Uh, the regular average American man, if you will. So, what's interesting is that, of course, in this world in which there are two genders, the man and the lady, um, there's men out there, right? And they're hating. They're normal. They're out there doing the normal thing, but they're also men, right? As opposed to women. So they gotta be macho. They gotta be courageous. They gotta be willing to put their physical well-being on the line and stuff like that, right? Men out there. There's a threat. I mean, Lord knows times are changing, but if there's a threat out there, aren't you supposed to be the one to go ahead and take care of it? Well, okay, the other day, for example, this is why it got caught in my head. The other day, it's a great example of normal men being retarded, being unacceptably retarded. It's brought to my attention by Pearl Davis, another person. Just, I don't know if you call them just controversial people. Pearl Davis, she was talking about a story that you may or may not have heard of. It does not matter. None of this is important. But she was talking about a female. This female was a basketball player. And I only saw a little clip Pearl was sharing with the audience that it was girl, this young lady. She was either in high school or it might have been even college playing basketball. Uh, the coach says something. They're having a back and forth. The young lady mouths off. It seems can't really tell what she's saying. Turns around, and the coach, who was a white man, he went ahead and he tugged on her ponytail. Did you see that? Tugged on her ponytail and jerked her head back. You know, it's kind of hard to jerk your head and say that at the same time, but jerked her head back from her ponytail. I don't know none of these people's names. It is not even important. But you can imagine that situation, am I right? Tugged on her ponytail, her neck jerked back. She's like, what the flip? And then her friend got all up in the face of the coach and was like, what the flip? When are you a white man? Should be doing none of this. And then he immediately got fired. Before he left that arena, he was absolutely fired, I'm sure. All right. And see, that's from what I observed and understand. There's some people, they don't have children. There's plenty of guys out there who do have children, especially men out there with daughters, but just children in general, I guess, but especially the ones with daughters. Uh, as you can well imagine, I'm sure there's comment sections all over the freaking internet talking about, oh, what I would do if somebody pulled and tugged on the hair of my little sweet daughter. Oh, what I would do about it. Right? The thing what most of these men are going to do about it is type something on the internet. Number one, all right, but actually, a lot of these guys will actually crash out on you. Actually, crash out, meaning, well, they were saying on the comment section, oh, I'd be sliding down those bleachers. I'd be getting my hand full of neck, and I'd just squeeze until the police got there. And all sort of, so you can imagine all this nonsense they're saying. It's nonsense to me, and this is like celebrated. This is what it means for you to be a real man. Aren't you a real man? I see somebody in the building. He ain't a real man. Neither am I, buddy. Neither am I. But okay, what I was saying is a lot of these men out here slipping and tripping. They would see their daughter get pulled by her ponytail, trip out, slip out, crash out, go to jail probably. Yeah, you're going to jail. What about him pulling her ponytail? And you think that you're not going to go to jail for killing this man? It's a crash out method and technique, such as the likes. Remember when Will Smith jumped up and slapped Chris Rock in the face? Everybody remembers. That's what I'm talking about. Crashing out doesn't even make sense. All right, for example, one thing that I already knew, and then Pearl had to point out, it's like she has to point out because all y'all simps and losers and dorks and cut losers, y'all all thinking the same way as like little normies and stuff. She had to point out, as well as I had to point out, there's no logic behind any of that. Oh, your daughter, she's playing the basketball. Some teacher pulls her by her ponytail. You have no idea what's the context. You're going to run up. You're going to be running and gunning. Doesn't even, I already knew, certain things that you know about life growing up for when you're growing up and how things go down, what kind of things could go down. Sometimes chaos goes down, but there's certain things that just don't happen. With or without this news story, here's what I can tell you doesn't happen. Teachers and coaches do not make a habit of pulling girls by their ponytails and jerking their head back. So what I'm saying is that there's definitely not no reason why he did that. Meaning, there's a guy who's been taken to the edge. It wasn't in that moment. He's been driven to the edge at this point. She's mouthing off to say probably something unfathomable, probably saying something that I wouldn't want to repeat right now to this coach. He's already lost it. He was already at the point, and then she keeps mouthing off. Just can't help it. Get the punny down. You just can't help but do that. But you know that she's being disrespectful, right? And that she had no business getting out of line like that, right? See, but a lot of normie fathers out there, they can't wait to crash out because of this. Doesn't make any sense. And as that girl, Pearl Davis pointed out, she's a former athlete, but I could tell you being in athletics, if anyone's in athletics, sometimes you get hurt. It's a part of the whole, that is what happens. You're risking hurting yourself all the time. In athletics, to include basketball, you can get elbowed on the eye socket and everything. All sort of bad things can happen to you in basketball. See, that's the normie logic. It's like, okay, put your girl in basketball. Meanwhile, all of the entirety of athletics is nothing more than war simulation. If you don't get that, then what the hell kind of shit? It's like, dude, this is what it's all about, competing against each other. Physical prowess, it's like a simulation of war. This is like military combat training in a sense, or military readiness training. You put in your daughter in that because you think men and women, they just do the same things. I don't have a problem with it. In fact, I'm for the girls and the girls' sports, if they want to do that and have their own sports, that's for the best. But also, this military training, sometimes people get hurt. I mean, the logic behind it, he pulled her ponytail a little bit. That would bother a person, but they could get sincerely hurt in the game, and you don't have no problem with that. That's your daughter. It's like you see how it's not lining up. Pulls her ponytail. What does that hurt? Is that like a big? Is that a terrible thing? She can it's elbowed in the eye socket. What are you gonna come down and beat a 15-year-old girl's ass because she hit your? I mean, maybe you would. Maybe you would, but it doesn't make much sense. And then I don't even disagree with it because out in the world, you encounter sometimes the opportunity for a threat to establish yourself. And then you got to deal with the threat, a physical threat right in front of you, in your proximity, within arm's reach, and it's getting closer. It's going to attack you. It's going to rob you. It's going to try to grape you, right? Sometimes I want to know jujitsu, get yourself out of that situation or perhaps into that situation. I'm not sure. I have to remind myself, and so that's what I'm doing right now. Um, Let me see about what I was watching earlier as well. I did watch the Ye interview. I stand by my man to say whatever he feels like saying. I obviously don't agree with all these people I just mentioned about everything. I agree with none of them about everything, obviously. But I do sincerely agree with their rights and abilities to pop off at the mouth on the internet. I think I'll die on that hill. Another one I was kind of just consumed with was Alex Jones, especially towards the third and fourth hour of his broadcast today. He was talking to a man by the name of Dane. Dane, manly name, right? Wigington. Wigington. exactly how you think spelled. And Dane Wigington was on the show. He was laying it down, hot fire, but what you really need to know. But also, he did mention a website by the name of geoengineeringwatch.org. Geoengineeringwatch.org. All right. And what he was talking about earlier, that was what's kind of interesting to me, is kind of captivating. It's something that I'm sure I brought up. In fact, I'm sure I brought it up recently. And it's about them spraying God knows what in the skies, in the atmosphere all the time. What I've noticed in particular for all the men out there who's so macho, and you will crash out, you will kill people. I'm not saying you won't. I'm just saying, know a lot of people out there is like that. But I know very few men who ever stop to think, what are they spraying above you in the sky? And in fact, since it's been happening for so long, most men, or especially young men out there, think that's just always how it's been. And obviously, there's no difference, and there's nothing to worry about, you crazy guy. So I don't like it. All right. As Alex Jones was talking about earlier, he was saying, shoot, they've been doing it since the late 90s. Some people totally forgot that this stuff didn't used to happen. And over 10, 15, 20 years more, they've incrementally introduced it into the sky. Oh, but there's nothing to worry about. For all the things people are concerned about, and there's plenty of very good things to be concerned about as far as, being worth your time, I'm sure. What they're spraying in the sky, at least according to Dane Wigington, according to Alex Jones, and according to a growing number of people every damn day, is diabolical and is the end period. When you think about, oh, things could happen, the escalation of war, a world war, oh, with Russia, all this thing. Oh, Middle East conflict with Israel, and they're going in there trying to like maybe get into it with Iran, stuff like that. And all sort of things. Any number of things. Our water. What's in our water? What are they putting in our water? For decades now, our food. What the heck? It's like, what are they putting in our food and stuff? Some people become more and more aware of that. Uh, there's psychopaths out there and they're vomiting on cyber trucks and stuff like that. And they're blowing them up. And you hear about it more and more in the news every single day. I hear more and more about the cyber trucks and the Teslas and the whatnot being attacked. And the people, especially people who I roll with, shout out Owen Schroyer. I mean, I can't think of all the names. Me, Trey Mark. I know rebels. I only run with rebels. If you don't understand that, it's like if you're sort of normal, I don't fucking have time for you. All right. So, all right. They were talking about what's being sprayed in the sky, right? You can be worried about rampant crime, and you can be worried about all sort of transgenders trying to knock down your back door. Um, there's plenty of things to be concerned about that are pretty concerning. But all in all, everything considered, I'm pretty sure, and that's why I brought it up the other day. Dane's pretty sure the biggest thing that you have to be worried about, if you only have one thing to worry about, is what they're spraying up in the sky. So when I say above you, I mean above everybody in the whole fucking world. Well, most developed countries, I'm sure, probably have people spraying shit up in their skies. It's going all over the globe. It is going to be the end of us. It's not a maybe. Oh, it's like a weird prediction. No, it's killing stuff to include the trees around here. It's like, for example, and I'll just give you one example. They talked about all the trees and stuff dying all over the place. Why? Because they're being poisoned. Okay, so they're saying it started in the early 90s and stuff like that, or maybe the late 90s, spraying around with these chemicals, and ever since they're going in the soil, they're being absorbed by the trees. The trees are dying. If I were to look around this damn neighborhood, I'm sure half of the trees are in dying mode. They're going to be dying. I mean, I'm seeing big old trees just all covered in fungus. Not even just a little bit. I mean, covered in fungus. It's on its way out. It's dying. I don't know what you could attribute that to. Maybe people need to water the tree better. Maybe it's being sprayed on with toxic poisons little by little over time, and it's dying. I see plenty of dying trees when I go out there. All right. They talked about a lot of things, little ways that you could know stuff's dying around here. They talked about the insects and the helpful insects on the farmland and stuff. Have you noticed? It's like I haven't seen a ladybug for a long time. Where's the ladybugs? And all sort of these bugs that used to be around, but they're not. So it's just like, okay, there's plenty of possibilities on a way in which total chaos could bring out all over us, right? The definite thing, what I'm saying it is, what Dane's saying it is, geoengineering Washington. I don't care how entertaining Kanye West, yay, as I like to call him, it's very entertaining. Whether or not the Jewish people are overlords, or there's actually white people who own the Jewish people, as Ye said it was. So there's white people over the Jewish people, making the Jewish people do this Jewish stuff on the black folks, rapping, hip hopping, and killing each other. But the spraying of what's going on above us is actually the biggest Mac Daddy of all the deals. Whether or not Bitcoin goes up or goes down, none of it matters. Gold, silver, the what they're spraying over us, killing us. And it's a real problem for regular, normal macho madness because you can't. Who are you going to crash out against? I mean, if you see another man pulling your daughter's ponytail without context, you're going to go over there and crash out, go to jail. But if I tell you that no matter what, your biggest problem for the foreseeable future, no matter what, is exactly what they're spraying over your damn head. And you know why they spray it? Because they know you ain't gonna do shit. Number one, you don't even remember that it used to not be there every day. And not only does it like bring garbage, sometimes it brings condensation into your atmosphere. All sort of stuff's raining down on your trees. Not half your trees are dying for some reason. And also, saying who you gonna crash out on? You're gonna be macho with, and that's the problem. See, when there's no one to be macho with no more, then you have to ignore the situation. But that's what I'm putting my bet on. It's that no matter the situation, they got to stop that up there. And they're doing it all over the world. It's not just America, they're doing it everywhere. How are you gonna stop them? I don't know. It's so wild these times we live in. I mean, it's so damn wild. Everything is unprecedented. As I say every damn time when I get on here. But I'm hearing today, for example, then I'm gonna get up out of here and stuff, spend time with his old dirty dog. Probably not spend no time with her. Earlier it rained out here, even hailed. This dirty old dog went into the rainstorm like she always does. She's sopping wet like she always does, dude, every time it's raining, no matter what. She loves to go out there and just get rained on. It was even hailing. She didn't even care. Sopping wet. I'm gonna have to give her a little bit of a visit before we get up out of here. Or, I mean, before I just go to night time. Hopefully, I'll be in good enough shape. I feel like this day of recovery has done me well, and I'll leave it in their hands. But I feel like I'm probably in good enough shape to get back into the work hustle tomorrow. Um, but yeah, no matter what they're spraying over the sky gonna get you. That's what they mean for it to be doing. Now, you got all sort of scandal, malarkey. Maybe you heard of it, maybe you haven't. There's all sort of uh, news items out there. A lot of people have been talking about RFK recently and the people he has around him, whether or not he's very tightly controlled by perhaps sex operatives and everything else. All right, that's kind of interesting, but even more interesting is that he is saying, dude, they're putting stuff up in the jets and they're spraying stuff on us. It's chemical poisons that they're killing us with. See, it's one of these matrix busters. You can't just be in the government saying, hey, they're fucking spraying us with poison every day. You lame ass macho man motherfuckers over there can't say shit, can't open your fucking mouths, even though it is going to be the death of y'all. So we can't run from toxins like aluminum and heavy metals and stuff, even plastics. I was thinking the other day, man, no matter what you do, if you're living in a society, you're not going to get away from plastics, right? It's going to be in your system no matter what. So I was thinking, probably the best thing for that would be a detox, if any, that you could have of plastics out your system. It's the only possible thing that you could do to mitigate the plastics in your system at this point, just because it's so around us all the time. But not only that, Dane Wigington was saying that there's actually microplastics that they're spraying on us as well, and we're breathing it in. So little by little, with each breath, breathing in little microplastics that are spraying at us. I mean, that's probably where we get the most of the microplastics in our systems because we're not exactly eating plastic spoons and shit. I mean, yeah, you might heat your stuff up in the microwave. And that's a bad idea, but they're probably spraying microplastics all around. Long story short, I'm gonna get up out of here. Death. That's what it's going to lead to. That's what it's already led to. This is what's clearly being done. You got RFK out here actually acknowledging it. And it's like, wow, where do we go from here? Because most men were just too afraid to admit that that's possible. They were going to continue to crash out and do dumb shit. And meanwhile, their whole progenies, their children, their grandchildren, or whatever they think they're going to have, they're all going to die. No, it's not funny. But they're going to die because we're dying out. We're being killed. It's right above us. And that's like plan A, what's right above us. The other different ways in which they could like maybe pump us full of potions and mess with our DNA and send us to war, and they would love to do all that. Plan A is right here with their spraying above us, and they won't stop. RFK just acknowledged it. Uh, Donald Trump's been saying, "Hey, how come our skies and our air isn't? How come our airs and our sky isn't so clean?" Yeah, how come? Well, that's all I got for today. But I'll holler at y'all a little bit later about some other stuff, probably. As I step up out of here, I'm reminded real quickly of an Elon Musk. I wish men and women the best, especially the young men and the young women. I wish y'all the best. Not always going to follow my advice. I didn't always follow the advice of my elders. All right, so I don't really take offense to it. But here's another perfect example: Elon Musk out here doing what he can do to help us out, just like an RFK is doing. I don't know who's controlling them. All I know is that he's bringing up these poisons. They're spraying above us on the sky. Who else is doing it? Elon Musk out there. He's doing the best he can. It seems. Some people might not believe it. I don't know if any of this is true, but I am reminded. I just saw a reminder of it. Elon Musk, his newest baby mama, I forget what's her name, St. Clair, Ashley St. Clair. She might have said this, she might have not have said this, right? I don't know for certain she said this, but I'm saying, hypothetically speaking, we're speaking on hypotheticals right now before we get out of here. Reportedly, allegedly, hypothetically, Ashley St. Clair was running her mouth, selling her Tesla, and running her mouth about her child support being reduced or something by Elon. All right. Now, I don't know anything about it. This could be all alleged. Maybe it never happened, but hypothetically, if it did happen, I want to point out that Ashley St. Clair's child support is most certainly, no matter what it is, it's most certainly more than I make a year. And I know that for a fact. Whatever she got it reduced to. Women going to run their mouths. Secondly, um, um, they're all kind of the same. Um, People out there, let's get out here, but there's men out there of whatever ages, they're looking around at women still, and they're like trying to vet them. They're trying to find the good ones. Oh, a good one. Look at all these other ones are crazy, and they're pumped full of poison and stuff, poison mRNAs. And I'm trying to avoid them. I want a conservative girl. I want a nice girl and stuff. I want something nice, traditional stuff. Maybe she's just a nice traditional girl. Is all I want. It's men out there like that. I'm not saying Elon is one of those. I have no idea. All right, but what I'm here to tell you for sure is that it does not matter. It does not matter. I say there's extremes certainly, but when it comes to any wine, God bless them. I want all the best for all the women, right? Regardless of what I say right now. I'm a very polarizing fella when I say it does not matter what kind of woman you have. What matters is you can use her for good or evil. That's what matters, right? Elon, he's out there being a little bit too busy. He's got a lot of stuff to do. He cannot keep none of his women from turning evil or not. I don't know that I could blame him. Who could blame him? Elon, right? And so this so-called conservative lady, and that's the thing. People like Pearl Davis pointing out that there's these so-called conservative ladies out here. Oh, they're different. Oh, they're special. Oh, they're traditional. Oh, these are the ones you want. Those are the ones you don't want, and stuff like that. Meanwhile, it's just kind of their foot in the door. Women are smart. Some women are so smart that they realize, oh, the men are conservative. Oh, why don't I play to that? Oh, it's going to give me paid money if I keep doing this traditional conservative thing. But that, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter, right? She might go where the wind blows. Whoever is paying her, that's where she might go. I'm not hating on women about that, right? Although it kind of sounds like it. I want to talk about it more later, right? While we have a little bit of time. But it's like I don't know how to say it. Perhaps she means well, perhaps she doesn't. She's gonna go where she gets paid at, and also she's gonna run her mouth. They're all kind of the same, right? If you're Elon Musk out there and you're launching rockets and you're trying to fix the government and stuff real quick, of course your baby mama's gonna be out there running her mouth about how much you don't pay in child support. And you're gonna have to start asking yourself whether or not that's really your baby. Right. And for that reason, of course, there's no reason to bet on women behind her politics or anything else. What's important is that you can see the potential of this woman. Maybe she has no idea about politics. Maybe her politics are all wrong. Doesn't matter. You just you just rest your pretty little head, all right? Don't even worry about a thing. Politics, social matters, doesn't matter. You're getting on my train because I'm a man. Women would take offense to hear me say that doesn't matter. That's what you're attracted to. You're all mixed up in your head. You can't keep a man, right? And you're over here wondering, oh, how come I don't have a girlfriend and stuff like that? I know what you're doing. And you're like, oh man, how dare he say that? The man has to lead and everything and tell you how to. Well, there's no point in vetting for a political party and any other kind of variable. What can you mold from this lady? She might be good. She might be a good helper to what you're doing. Do you have a program? Are you a leader? Are you over here getting killed by toxic poisons in the sky and you won't even admit it? It's going to be the death of you. It's the death of you. Already see the death. Um, I wonder. Uh, I gotta get up out of here, and I'll holler at y'all maybe tomorrow.